welcome. We're here I'm Jim Whalen, I'm CTO of BXP, formerly Boston Properties, and we're here to talk about the Real Estate Cyber Consortium, RECC.
Yes.
And it's a pleasure to have Cecilia, and you're here as our executive director, so it's a pleasure
to be here.
Yeah. And I think we had the Cyber Forum, Cecilia and Greg, to kick off the pre-conference yesterday, and maybe to talk a little bit about the highlights from that, and I'll maybe start with you, Greg.
Yeah. This year was a little different because we had so much content in a 2.5 hour time, right? Mm-hmm. We went with shorter sessions, right? Sessions that were 7 minutes, 10 minutes. I think we only had one session that was 20 minutes, but we wanted to make sure that we kept the room engaged, right? Yeah. And I think the content was a little different than it was last year. We didn't repeat the same messages over and over again. And I got a lot of really, really positive feedback. And we didn't lose the room.
Yes.
Right. We had 200
that's historically, and I thought one of the great things, Cecilia, was that there was a lot of good context to start, like 10,000 square, feet view of the landscape, the threat landscape, and then we kind of went down to even a use case that you provided. So,
I mean, the use cases. We started with the high level, right? What's happening right now in today's world, and then bringing it back home, like what's happening in our industry and how is it impacting our users, our companies, and how do we protect ourselves?
Yeah, and I thought it was great, the practitioner story. I think we had 4 interwoven into the conversation, Greg, that were really, really hitting the spot. So.
Yeah, one of the sessions I found really, really interesting was when we had the attorneys on talking about sharing not just only the threat landscape, but sharing incidents, right? How do we share incidents as a community? And I thought that was very interesting because we're trying to get more and more into using the RECC, right? We're part of the RECC now, and disclosure is one of those things that's a little tricky because of the branding and some of the legal implications, and I thought we got a little clarity on that yesterday.
Yeah, and one of the things about promoting awareness is how do we help each other educate ourselves, right? And the only way to do that is to be able to collaborate. And to your point, there is this unknown, right? How much can I disclose? And those conversations are very helpful because it allows everybody to feel more comfortable and provide some guidance as to, what is it that they can share and how they can share, how do they go about it? And that's very helpful.
Yeah, we're talking about an advisory board now. Right, we're starting to talk. We just had that conversation in the nation state meeting.
Yes.
Right, creating an advisory board with some attorneys who can talk to some of our member companies' attorneys and figure out what that sharing looks like from a legal perspective.
So let's we'll get regrounded a little bit about RECC. It's been 9-10 years. There was a meeting, I think it was in San Jose at Realcomm. I was part of that meeting way back.
Right.
Yeah.
And a bunch of us got together and really founded this consortium and started a journey.
Right.
And we got to a critical mass. I mean, Greg, what's the square footage now that's on the leadership board represented?
Oh wow, I think it's over 400 billion now.
Yeah. It's just it's a real. So we have critical mass around the table, and one of the real initiators was this is a threat to the entire community, and how can we collectively? Each of us shouldn't have to reinvent the wheel every time. We should be learning from one another. And I think one of the things for me that has been really powerful is really the members who have come in that have literally elevated the game of their companies through the participation in the RECC.
No,
so
absolutely.
maybe Greg, talk a little bit about just like what do we do? We have monthly calls.
Yep, we have our monthly calls. We have a few initiatives that are going on. Last year we had the OPR and the
maybe
OT
talk about
cyber
maybe use
model.
that. What does that acronym stand for?
Owner's Project Requirement Document.
Yep.
Yeah, where cyber is being embedded into construction documents now. And that's gone over real well. But one of the things we started doing this year was doing small case studies. You did a case study on a tool that you use. I just had one of the vendors come to me today at the booth and say, hey, you know what, we need to join. I had one of your members, other member companies come to me and say, hey, we want to talk to you guys about your solution. We heard about it through a case study at a RECC meeting, right? Yeah, exactly.
That's
So
that's great.
yeah, exactly. So it's one of those situations where our members are collaborating and learning from each other, right? Because there's different levels of cyber maturity within our organization, right?
Yes.
Some are here, some are here, and we're trying to get the tide to rise all the boats,
So,
right?
so it's monthly calls. We have an in-person leadership. We had it in DC. About
Yep,
50 and 50 of us.
Yeah,
I mean,
that,
very
that
intimate.
meeting was bigger than the previous years.
And then we have the cyber pre-forum, right?
Right, and we have different asset types because everybody can benefit from these conversations. It doesn't matter whether you're a multifamily, office, retail. I mean,
everyone's in the room.
Everybody's in the room
Right.
because there's so many similarities in which cybersecurity impacts us.
And I think the other things, Cecilia, like we're trying to balance IT and OT, operational technology and information technology, and we cover both sides of the spectrum.
Right, correct. And how can we invite some of our peers within our own organizations to get more serious in these conversations, right? Because just as we're protecting our organizations, we need our counterparts. So we're enabling those conversations on how to have the conversations within our organizations.
Yes, how to move up all the way up to the board in some cases.
Correct.
Like I know you've really provided some interesting just reference points for how you communicate with your board and all that dialogue. And you're retail and I'm office, right? So like we're both at the table.
Right.
So
and how to get some funding, right, to continue protecting our organizations.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I found interesting let's just say during the traffic, right? We got a lot of foot traffic at the booth today, and several people told me that they were advised by someone in their company to come and join RECC, right? And I think I probably have 15 or 20 people who want to sit down, talk about joining RECC, find out what we're doing at RECC because they heard from one of their counterparts or someone else in the industry.
Yes.
So it's starting to feel more and more exciting every year. I remember the first year that I came aboard, and I think you and I, we were standing at the dinner, and you looked at me and you go, wow, this is pretty exciting. I think we're starting to
critical
grow.
mass. It was critical mass.
Right. And I remember the look on your face, and I said, I think we're going to be okay because there's a certain amount of excitement that's going on about the organization now. And people are starting to realize that we may be that organization that spearheads the entire movement because at the end of the day,
we're talking about our next chapter now, Greg.
Exactly.
So,
because we're trying to take our organization to the next level. We're trying not to stay stagnant and not be the organization of only ideas, but the organization of action, and it takes a
And we're
huge
constantly
village.
thinking about how we can provide more value to our members. How can we continue educating? How can we continue collaborating together? So, definitely there's a lot of brains at work trying to continue training our industry.
That's interesting you said that because last week we had someone, one of our speakers was from an organization that does cyber training, and we're looking at providing that for our members free of charge to do group training, cyber group training.
So Greg, what's your elevator pitch? Why should I join RECC?
Because it's the organization. That's a very good one. And when someone asks me why would you join RECC, and the first thing I tell them, it depends on if you're a vendor or if you're a practitioner, right? And if you're a practitioner, I tell them, I say, listen, some of the largest real estate holders in North America belong to RECC. So why should you go on your journey alone? I've seen conversations amongst yourselves and some of your other peers, and I know that solutions or issues get solved just through conversations offline, not just our leadership meetings, but it's the collaboration that's the most valuable in addition to some of our initiatives.
And why is Urban Edge a member?
Listen, I really gain a lot from talking to all of our peers because we can't solve this alone. And we all are in different stages of our journey, and whatever you're going through, I can learn from your successes and failures.
I have takeaways on every meeting and every call.
Absolutely. And the connections, right? You might know somebody that I don't, and so we're constantly sharing, and to me that is very valuable. At the end of the day, we're looking to protect our organization, and so so are you, right?
Yes,
and so
yeah.
we have the same goal.
Yeah. So rec.org?
Yes, rec.org.
Yep. So,
RECC.org.
and you see, and Greg is our executive director, and if you're interested, please reach out.
RECC.org.
Thank you, Cecilia.
Thank you. Great. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.